Hi and welcome back to another recap video here on the Dan and Dragons YouTube channel, where I will post recap videos regarding everything that happens during certain chapters of our campaign Adventures of the Sword Coast. In the last previous videos, the last three, they were narrated by myself, and I made some nice video underneath it, but this time we're going to do it differently, because I've asked two very good friends of mine, Ashley and Isaac, to discuss this chapter together and record it for me. Together they are a great team, and they describe nicely what happens in this chapter, and I think it gives it a nice flow, because otherwise you need to listen to me all the time. There will be less video material underneath it, just some images. It's just nicer to listen to them talk about all the events of this chapter. And this way I can roll out the recaps of the chapters much quicker. And I personally really enjoy the content. Even though Ashley and Isaac are very good, they sometimes pronounce the names of the main characters a bit wrong, but bear with them. Anyways, I hope you're gonna enjoy this, and see you next time. Bye bye.
Okay, so we've got a pretty intense YouTube video transcript to dive into today.
Yeah, it looks like a wild D&D session.
Yep, Chapter 04, the Redbrand Hideout Part 2 from Dan and Dragons.
Sounds exciting.
Oh, it is, and we're gonna break it all down for you.
All the key events, the discoveries, the character moments, you name it.
Exactly. We want to give you like a clear picture of what went down in this session.
Without having to watch the whole thing, of course.
Right, so let's jump in. The transcript kind of picks up mid-action. The group's about to go into the secret area.
Right.
But before we get there, can you remind us who's in the party?
Yeah.
And like what got them to this point?
Sure, so we've got Sephin the Paladin.
Okay, a holy warrior.
Exactly. Then there's Deimos the Warlock.
Dealing with some interesting powers there.
For sure. And then we have Azara the Cleric.
Divine magic.
Right. And Inna Woodworker Elf.
Skilled with a bow and blade.
Uh-huh. And their friend Sildar Hallwinter, he's out of commission for now.
Ah, yeah. Poison dart.
Yep. So their main goal is to deal with these Redbrands.
Terrorizing the town of Phandalin.
Exactly. And they've tracked them to this hideout under Trezendar Manor.
Makes sense. And they weren't just walking in blind, right? They had some intel going in.
You're absolutely right. They had rescued Myrna Dendrar and her kids earlier.
Right.
And she told them that her husband Tell was murdered by the Redbrands.
Oh, no.
Yeah. She also mentioned a family heirloom in Thunder Tree at their old herb shop.
Interesting little side quest, maybe.
Potentially. So how did they even find this secret passage? Well, through some creative questioning of a captured Redbrand.
Ah, so they got a little rough with him.
Maybe he spilled the beans about the secret door.
Makes sense. And then they did something pretty bold, didn't they? They disguised themselves as Redbrands. Yeah, they put on those red cloaks.
Exactly. Except Deimos, he went a step further, shape-shifted into Jeffrey.
One of the Redbrands they captured earlier.
Precisely so. To prep Sephin and Inna rested, while Azara and Deimos kept watch.
Sneaky, sneaky. Okay, so Jeffrey leads the way. What happens when they go through the secret door?
Well, they go into a narrow hallway, checking for traps like any good adventurer would.
Safety first.
Always. And the passage is clear. It leads into this massive cavern.
Ooh, a cavern. I bet that was a little creepy.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It had a high ceiling supported by these huge stone columns.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
And there's a cold breeze blowing through, carrying the smell of decay.
Yuck, not a good sign.
Nope. And to make things even creepier, there's a deep crevice in the floor.
Uh-oh.
And there are two wooden bridges going over it.
I'm getting some serious dungeon vibes here.
Me too. And it gets even weirder because then they start hearing whispers.
Whispers, like in their head.
Yeah, telepathic whispers, and not nice ones either. They're like these insidious suggestions.
Ooh, that's messed up. What kind of things are they hearing?
Well, Deimos hears whispers tempting him to betray his friends.
Oh, no.
Sephin hears urges to kill for the Lady of Darkness.
That sounds like a bad dude or lady, as the case may be.
Definitely. And then Azara's whispers mention her book specifically.
Her book. That seems important. I bet she was freaked out.
She was the only one who reacted out loud, actually.
Yeah.
She cried out when her book was mentioned.
Yeah, that would do it. It's interesting, though, how the whispers seem tailored to each person.
You're right, like they're trying to exploit their weaknesses or tempt them individually.
Yeah, psychological warfare for sure.
Definitely. And then the source of some of these whispers makes itself known.
Oh, what is it?
It's this creepy creature hiding near the crevice. Azara spots it. It's a Nothic.
A Nothic. For those of us who don't speak fluent monster, what's a Nothic?
It's this creature with one big eye in the middle of its head.
Oh, okay, starting to get the picture.
And like the whispers, it communicates telepathically.
Of course it does. What does it say?
Its first words are, "Give me food."
Straight to the point. I guess Nothics aren't big on manners.
Apparently not. It also complains that the Redbrands aren't feeding it enough.
Sounds like a disgruntled employee.
Pretty much. And then it drops this disturbing detail. It mentions eating someone who was thrown in the crevice.
Gross. And probably a bad sign for our heroes.
Definitely not a creature you want on your bad side. So they start talking to it. Well, Azara does telepathically.
What did they learn?
It tells them it's been living in the basement for ages before the Redbrands showed up.
So it knows the place pretty well, then?
Yeah. And the Redbrands made a deal with it, food in exchange for not being attacked.
Sounds like the kind of deal you make when you're desperate.
For sure. The Nothic also says it can see secrets by looking into people's souls.
Okay, that's a little creepy.
Very creepy, and it even warns Azara to protect her book.
Again, with the book, that thing must be important.
Seems like it. So Azara, being the clever cleric she is, throws the Nothic a ration.
Smart move, keep the monster fed.
Exactly. She also observes it closely, makes sure it's really a Nothic, and confirms it eats dead things.
Delightful. So what happens next?
Well, the Nothic mentions this faint magical aura coming from a crack in the crevice.
That sounds suspicious.
Yeah, and Azara, being resourceful, points out some dead Redbrands like, hey, you want seconds?
Oh, Azara.
But the Nothic seems more interested in the magical aura.
Interesting. Okay, so they've had their chat with the one-eyed wonder. What do they do next?
They keep exploring and find a hallway with stairs going down and 2 doors.
Classic dungeon dilemma, which door to pick.
Right. Sethin, being the bull paladin, checks out the left door.
What's behind door number 1?
It's an empty wizard's workshop.
Ooh, magic stuff.
Yep, all sorts of alchemical equipment and ingredients for potions, including invisibility potions.
It sounds like someone in the Redbrands is more than just a thug.
Definitely. Meanwhile, Deimos checks out the right door.
Let's see what he finds.
He hears a bunch of loud, drunk Redbrands.
Sounds like a party.
Yeah, not so secret party. So Sethin goes into the workshop and Deimos follows, but Azara hangs back.
What catches her attention? A rat.
A rat! Seems a little mundane after a Nothic.
Ah, but this is no ordinary rat. Azara uses her ring of animal influence to talk to it.
Wait, she can talk to animals? That's awesome.
Right, and this rat has opinions. It tells them the workshop is the best room and the other room is just a toilet.
A talking toilet-hating rat. This dungeon is wild. It also tells them to stay in the workshop.
Sounds it's trying to protect them from something.
Maybe. But Deimos isn't buying it. He tries to shoot the rat with his crossbow.
Oh no, poor rat.
Anna says a day, deflects the bolt with her sword.
Nice reflexes.
Huh.
So the rat lives to see another day. What happens to it?
Well, Azara, still suspicious, kills the rat.
Oh no.
And as it's dying, it reveals it was loyal to the master and trying to delay them.
The master. So there's someone even higher up than the Redbrand.
Looks like it. And the rat was trying to help him escape.
So it really was trying to protect them in a way.
In a roundabout way, yeah.
Wow. Okay. So with this new information, what do they do?
Azara remembers what the rat said about the other room and finds a secret door there.
Of course there's a secret door. This place is full of them.
And it's half closed, meaning someone just went through it.
A master, perhaps?
Most likely, Azara also finds a note on a desk addressed to Lord Albra.
Lord Albra, that must be the master.
Yeah, the note is from Yarno, also known as the Black Spider.
Oh, the black spider, that name keeps popping up.
It's a big deal. The note mentions spies in Neverwinter.
Intrigue.
And it says that strangers are expected, probably our heroes.
Right.
And the Black Spider orders Lord Albra to capture or kill them and get any dwarven maps they have.
Dwarven maps. Those must be important.
It definitely seems like the Black Spider is after something specific.
Makes sense. So they find this note, and what else is on the desk?
A silk pouch with some gemstones, 5 cornelian worth 10 gold pieces each, and 2 peridot worth 15 gold pieces each.
Nice little bonus.
Always good to find treasure. So while all this is happening, Deimos is still in the wizard's workshop.
What's he up to?
He finds all these books and notes about alchemy, especially making potions of invisibility.
And I bet he finds something even better.
He finds a potion of invisibility ready to go.
Score.
He also finds a big book written in Dwarvish.
That could be useful if they can find someone to translate it.
Exactly. So Deimos, realizing what's happened, shouts to the others about the secret passage.
They must have been freaking out a little.
Yeah. Azara puts it all together. The rat, the secret door, Lord Albert escaping.
They just missed him.
By a hair. Sefin and Nina come up the stairs through the secret door, and they all meet up.
So they know Lord Albert is gone, but they have a new lead, the Black Spider.
Right. And they decide to check out another area before chasing after Lord Albert.
Where do they go?
North of the cavern. And they find a room full of stuff, barrels, crates, and 30 beaver pelts.
Beaver pelts? What are they going to do with those?
Well, they figure out they're from a caravan that was robbed.
So more evidence of the Redbrand's crime.
Exactly. But their investigation is interrupted by a familiar face, or rather, eye.
The Nothic is back.
Yep, and it's blocking their path.
Yeah.
It says the master told it not to let them pass.
So Lord Albert had time to give the Nothic orders before he left.
It seems that way. So it looks like round 2 with the Nothic is on.
Here we go again. How does it start?
Sefin attacks first but misses.
Not a good start.
Azara throws the dead rat at the Nothic.
Okay.
It's a peace offering of sorts.
I guess it's better than nothing. The Nothic tries to use its rotting gaze on Sefin.
Nasty, but Sefin makes his saving throw.
Few close one. Deimos hits the Nothic with an Eldritch Blast, but Inna misses with her bow.
It's a tough shot in that cramped cavern. So round 1 is over. What happens next?
Well, Sefin misses again, and Azara decides not to attack.
Interesting choice.
Maybe she's still feeling a little bad about the rat.
Could be the Nothic claws. Sefin, though, hits him for 14 damage.
Ouch, Inna switches to her longsword and misses.
Close quarters combat is more her style.
And then Deimos does something clever.
He crosses one of the bridges to flank the Nothic and blasts him with 2 scorching rays, 16 damage.
That's gotta hurt.
It does. And then Sefin finishes the job with a divine smite.
The Nothic is down for good this time.
Lights out. So they search the Nothic's lair. What do they find?
Hopefully something good this time.
Well, they find the remains of Myrna's husband, Tel.
Oh, no. So the Nothic was telling the truth.
Sadly, yeah. But they also find a chest with some good stuff.
Tell us about the loot.
160 silver pieces, 120 gold pieces, 5 gems, 2 potions of healing, a scroll of augury, and a +1 longsword named Talon.
A magic sword. That's awesome.
It is, and it belonged to Eled Trezender the Blackhawk.
Another legendary figure in this area.
Seems like it Azara takes the sword.
Good choice for a cleric. Okay, so the Nothic is dealt with. What's next on the agenda?
Sefin leads them to the room where they heard the drunk Redbrands.
Time to deal with the partygoers.
Deimos still disguised as Jeffrey bursts in and tells them intruders are attacking.
Causing a bit of chaos.
Definitely while they're confused, he steals their coins.
Who's criminal?
He gets a nice haul, copper, silver, electrum gold, and some earrings worth 30 gold.
Not bad for a distraction.
And as the Redbrands stumble out to investigate Sefin attacks,
The battle is on.
it's a messy fight with everyone piling on, but the Redbrands are too drunk to put up much of a fight.
They never stood a chance.
Nope, they're all defeated.
Justice is served, so what now?
Sefin kicks open another door and finds 3 bugbears.
Bugbears. Those are tough customers.
Definitely one's a leader with an eye patch called Mosk, another bugbear, and a goblin named Droop.
Droop. That's an unfortunate name.
Yeah, well, Droop faints as soon as he sees them.
Understandable. I guess bugbears are pretty intimidating.
They are. So the other 2 bugbears attack Sefon.
This is going to be a tough fight.
It is Azara blasts the leader with a guiding bolt, 21 damage.
Wow, that's a lot, but he's still standing.
The bugbears are tough. Deimos hits him with Scorching Ray, 13 more damage.
They're wearing him down.
Sefon tried to intimidate them by showing them Clark's head.
Whoa, the bugbear they killed earlier.
Yep, but it doesn't work.
I guess some creatures are immune to psychological warfare.
Apparently. So the bugbear leader attacks Sefon and misses.
It's your turn.
Azara jumps on a bed and attacks the leader with Talon 7 damage, and he goes down.
Nice one.
Deimos misses with an Eldritch Blast.
It happens.
The other bugbear hits Inna for 12 damage.
Poor Sefin misses his attack, but Azara heals Inna with Healing Word 9 hit points back.
A team effort.
And then Deimos finishes off the last bugbear with Eldritch Blast.
So the bugbears are down, and Droop is still unconscious.
What do they do with him?
Well, Sefin wakes him up in a rather unpleasant way.
Let me guess he didn't offer him a cup of coffee.
Not quite. Droop is terrified, but says he'll help them if they're nice.
I bet he's wishing he stayed unconscious.
Probably. Azara convinces him to talk.
Smart move. Let's see what Droop knows.
He tells them the leader was a wizard named Glassstaff, also known as Glyph.
A wizard running the Redbrands. That explains a lot.
And his room is in the northwest part of the hideout.
Good to know. Droop also confirms the Black Spider hired the Redbrands.
And that he said the bugbears as reinforcements.
This Black Spider guy is bad news.
For sure, Droop says he's been spying on his own and will tell them anything they want to know.
The goblin who came in from the cold.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they ask him about the Goblin King and Cragmaw Castle.
Things from their earlier adventures.
Right. Droop knows the general direction north through the forest, but not the exact location.
Okay, so they'll have to do some more exploring.
He only knows the way to Clark's cave, the bugbear lair they cleared out before.
Too bad. He does mention something else, though, right? About the water basin.
Yeah, he says Glassstaff kept something hidden there.
Intriguing, but when they check, it's empty.
Someone must have already taken it.
Suspicious. He also tells them about a chest in Glassstaff's room under the bed. More treasure.
Always. So they find the chest, and inside is a pearl worth 100 gold pieces and 130 more gold pieces.
Not a bad haul.
Definitely a good reward for listening to Droop.
But then things take a dark turn, don't they?
Unfortunately, yeah, Sefin doesn't trust goblins, and he's worried Droop will betray them.
So
He kills Droop.
Oh, no. Azara must have been furious.
She makes it very clear she doesn't approve.
A tough situation. There's no easy answer when it comes to trusting a potential enemy.
For sure. So after that, they loot. The Redbrand bodies take their swords and cloaks.
Practical.
And Inna gets the key to the prison cells where they're holding the other Redbrands.
What does she do with it?
She decides to give it to the town master. Let him deal with them.
She's seen enough violence for one night.
I can't blame her. So they check out the water basin again, but it's still empty.
Someone got there first.
Yep. And then they discuss what to do next. They decide to leave the hideout in the morning.
Smart move. It's not safe to stay there.
They're also worried about Glassstaff and any other Redbrands at the inn in Sandalin.
Right. So they need to find somewhere safe to rest.
Inna wants to go home, but Azara convinces her to camp with them outside of town.
Safer in numbers.
Definitely, Deimos joins them for a short rest, but Sefin goes off to meditate on his own.
I bet he's got a lot to think about.
Yeah, that was a pretty intense session.
It was. They faced some tough choices, made some difficult decisions, and uncovered a whole lot of secrets.
Absolutely. And for you listening, this session shows how important it is to gather information.
Right, knowledge is power in D&D.
It also shows how unpredictable things can be.
You never know what's behind the next door.
And how people react differently to pressure and tough choices.
Like Sefin and Azara with Droop.
Exactly. And the fact that Glassstaff got away and the Black Spider's involved means there's more to come.
Definitely. This is just the beginning of the story.
So we're left with a lot of questions. What's the Black Spider really after? What will Glassstaff do now? What's the deal with Azara's book?
So many mysteries.
And will Inna make sure the Redbrands they captured face justice? What about the consequences of Sefin's actions?
A lot to think about.
We encourage you to think about the ethics of what the group did.
Were Sefin's actions justified? Could they have done things differently?
And how will Glassstaff getting away affect things in the future?
If you're curious about those creatures, they met the Nothic and the bugbears. Look into the lore.
There's a whole world of information out there.
And finally, this session raises a big question. Can you achieve true justice in a dangerous world without making tough choices?
Choices that might even seem wrong to some people.
That's a question for all of us to consider.
It is. So thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the Redbrand hideout.
Until next time, keep your dice rolling and your minds sharp.